Welcome to everybody out in Facebook world and everybody out in YouTube world. We have a really cool topic for you guys today, and I'm really excited to share it with you. And this is something that comes up all the time with experienced agencies and those new agents that have a big appetite to really take the travel industry by storm. So on today's show, we're talking about the experts that million-dollar agencies have in place. Who do they have on their team? Who are those people? Where do you find them? So we're gonna talk about the exact team that you need to have in place to get your travel business to 7 figures and beyond in sales. So if you want to assemble an expert team to create massive growth, if you want to know exactly the experts to have in place to grow your agency to 6 figures plus a year in sales, if you want to know what experts can protect you from catastrophic events in your business, if you want to know how to vet people to add to your, well, we're going to call it the A team, and if you want to save a ton of money as you build your team or figure out how you can do it in a way that works for your budget, keep on watching because we're going to talk about all that on today's show. By the way, guys, if you are new to the live stream, I want to encourage you to subscribe. We do shows to help you grow and build your travel business every single week. So please think about subscribing on YouTube. That's where you can find all of our content. This is a live stream, so it's also over on Facebook, but we do a whole bunch more over on YouTube. So make sure you take a minute and subscribe. I'll drop the link below after the live stream ends today. But let's get started. If you guys are new, first of all, my name is Cyndi Williams. I am kind of like an old school veteran in the travel industry. I have been doing this. I'm celebrating my 25th year since I started. I own my own amazing award-winning travel agency called Tripsy Travel, and I also own Cruise on Vacation. We got new shirts today. Do you guys like them? Cruise on Vacation is the place to get all of your education programs, mentorship to help you grow and thrive. We help people grow and supersize their travel businesses all the time, and that is how I do my day-to-day. This is part of my advocacy work, the live streams that we do, and I'm so glad that you're here. I always say, just know 2 things about me. I love fun earrings that I get when I travel, and I love coffee mugs. And today, you guys, can you stand this mug? I mean, is anyone else shopping more on like travel places or like the Disney store online? I'm going crazy because we're booked for November, so I'm excited about that. But I'm doing a little more shopping than normal, but how could you say no to this mug? So anyway, you know all there is to know about me. Let's get started into today's content. Experts, who do you need on your team to get your agency to that $1 million level in sales? How do you assemble an A team? So let's talk about who is critical to have on your team. Besides my travel business, I've also owned other businesses in my long career. And no matter what type of business you're in, there are a few essential people you should always have in place. So the first one I'm going to recommend is that you have a good CPA or a great accountant to help with that bookkeeping. And if you're like me, like I hate doing books, so I outsource that piece, but having a great CPA on staff, a great accountant on staff can save you from so many troubles. When we had our franchise business years ago, this was different. It was a non-travel related business. It was amazing, and we loved it for the time that we had it, but we worked with an accountant that was kind of new into accounting, and she wasn't really great about keeping track of deadlines, and we actually missed a quarterly tax payment. That's like a big deal if you've ever had that happen. This was actually a business where you have employees. Travel agencies these days are usually a different model. You're hiring contractors and things, but at that time we had employees, and we didn't realize because we thought we were paying her to file this stuff, and she'd filed it in months past, but she missed the deadline. So not only did we miss the deadline, we had like huge fees. And this was in the middle of the recession when we were like, oh my gosh, we were just starting out growing our company. Huge mistake. So we really learned from that, like we need to get a better person on staff. And you know, it's kind of one of those get what you pay for kind of thing. So we upgraded our CPA, who cost more money, but we've been with that CPA now for over a decade. And everything works flawlessly. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to lose sleep at night. Everything gets done according to schedule. They send us reminders, all of that good stuff. So having, even if you haven't made your first sale yet, you still want to think about having that person in place. And also, as you grow, there's different tax advantages that you'll be eligible for as a business, or sometimes it makes sense to become an S Corp, or do you want to be an LLC, or does it make sense to be a sole proprietor? Dependent on your personal situation and how you want to organize, you really want to have those conversations with a CPA before you just make a call on it, because what's best for you and your family might not be the same cookie cutter approach for the person next to you. And I see all kinds of people giving, and by the way, I don't give tax or legal advice ever. We're just talking about the fact that you should go out and get great tax advice and get great legal advice. But I see the craziest things on some of these feeds where people say, well, I just did this, or here's how I get around this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're breaking the law. Like that's, and this is on a public feed with hundreds of people following it, and I'm just going, phew, like that's so crazy. So don't get your accounting or legal advice from feeds on Facebook. Like, don't do it. It's not a good idea, because at the end of the day, if your name is signed on that paper and you're the owner of the company, you are responsible for doing things the correct way. So having a CPA is one of those things that can keep you from a catastrophic event. So make sure you have that person in place. Next person you should really have in place is a legal professional. You probably won't need them a ton at the beginning, but as you grow and add team members, or if you want to grow a team or grow an agency, and you get into things like hiring contracts, or how to charge fees to clients, or how do I have them sign a waiver, different things that are important, you want to make sure that you just pass them through a legal professional in your state, because states are different, right? Florida has seller of travel, California has seller of travel in 3 other states. So they have different regulations dependent on where you sit in the country, and also who you, if people are residing in those states, there's things you need to know. So it's a good idea to have a legal professional set your company up if you are going to become a legal entity, right? Because then you form that relationship, and then as you grow. So at the beginning, it might just be paying them to do that setup piece, but at least you've established a relationship, and now you can move forward. And as as you grow as an agency, they can either refer you out to someone who does it at their law firm, or maybe that's something that they cover too, whether it's employment law or hiring agreements or different things that you might need access to in the future. Establishing that relationship early on is really good. So have a legal professional in your pocket. This is not someone you're paying every day or talking to every week. These are occasional things, but have them on your immediate team, right? So you have access to them if something pops up. Again, it's one of those peace of mind things. So that's really important. So next, who else is on this dream team of these growing mega agencies? The next thing you need to think about are marketing experts. So many times, and this is where our industry is so far behind, because I've run other businesses and because I've been privy to how people are marketing, because I go to a zillion marketing conferences every year. This year they're all canceled, some of them are virtual, but because I go to these marketing conferences, I mean, I can tell you there are plumbing services and maid services that do a better job of online marketing than the typical home-based travel agency or even travel agent, because you guys just don't know how to do it. And I get it, learning is hard. It's like learning a whole nother world right now. I'm gonna take a pause for a moment and say thank you to all the educators out there starting school back this month and next month across the country, because some of them are having a rough time. I saw a post yesterday that said, hey, my dad's a teacher and he's 55, and he is so nervous and he's practicing outside of hours to make sure things are good for his student. And I was like, oh my God, my heart was like broken open, because I'm like, yeah, all these teachers that have taught for 20 years are having to get on video. Oh my gosh, like I do video every day. I train video every day, so it's not a big deal, but I see the struggles that people go through to hit that record button the first time, and teachers are being asked to like train in this whole new format. They're having to learn new stuff. Guess what? You signed up to be a business owner, a travel entrepreneur. You're gonna have to learn new stuff all the time. I'm 25 years in and I am learning every single day. I of course have a team of experts. Just yesterday every month we have a call with our A team of experts, And I say, who's working on this? Who's working on that? Where are the stats on this? And they're still teaching me and training me, saying, Cyndi, we need to connect this here and do this, and we can get more optimization if we do. You're always, to be a successful entrepreneur in general, you need to commit to lifelong learning. It's part of the process if you want to grow. But having this team in place allows you to get some of it out of your headspace, right? So marketing experts are important. Now, you don't need a marketing expert for everything under the sun. In fact, I don't recommend that you go to every single platform like Snapchat, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, right? There's a gazillion of them out there. You need to commit to 2 or 3 and do them really well. That will get you more conversion in your agency. We spend over $100 grand a year on experts and ad testing just so we can turn around in our Careers on Vacation mastermind and say, here's what you should do. Here's the quickest way to cash or quickest way to abundance because we've tested it in our own travel agency, right? So, but if you commit to 2 or 3 of those and do them really well, then you're, instead of having 6 or 7 people, you can start with, maybe you start with 1 and then you add a second one when you're ready and when your finances allow. So we'll get into finances and how to kind of scale it up here in a second. But having marketing experts, like if you're not getting conversion out of Facebook, if you're not converting out of YouTube, if you're not converting out of whatever platforms you're using, you either need to dump the platform or figure out what you're doing wrong. And every single this came up on our mastermind call yesterday. I didn't plan to talk about this, but our mastermind call yesterday with all of our Careers on Vacation students went into a rabbit hole of like how to optimize each platform differently and why you do this on Facebook and why you do this on Instagram and why you do this on YouTube and why you do this on the other ones, blah, blah, blah. Because it is a different strategy. To get conversion, it is a different strategy, and each one has their own language. Each one has their own optimization. Each one has their own call to actions, if you will. So of course you might not know all of that stuff, because if you're new to marketing or you've never done online marketing, it can be completely overwhelming. So introducing an expert that can guide you through and help you through that process becomes instrumental in growth, okay? So just know that investing in that type of person is normal. I'm gonna talk about in a second how to vet people so you don't do what I did at the beginning and hire a bunch of people that don't know what they're doing and waste a bunch of money. So I'll get into how to vet them here in just a second. But I want to talk about the last and maybe most important person on your team, and that is to have a mentor, either a mentor in the industry or someone that understands our industry. Of course, I coach through Careers on Vacation, so selfishly, I'm going to put a plug in. If you want to work with me, you can go to careersonvacation.com and get all of our free resources and find out about that. But even if you're not working with me, that's okay. I'm still going to wish you so much love and abundance, but I want you to find a mentor that you resonate with that resonates with you. If I don't, that's fine. Find someone who does. If I do, great, go follow the path to careersonvacation.com. But the point is, what a mentor does for you and what we do for everyone every day in our programs is, 1, open them up to their own potential. Sometimes the answer is right in front of them, but they can't see it because they're tied into old thought patterns, or they've been doing things for 5 or 10 years, or they're going into it with not knowing the questions to ask. It's always the ones you guys don't know to ask that get you in the most trouble. Like, who knew you could make tax errors until you watched this webinar today, right? Or live stream today, or whatever the thing might be. So helping people, guide them through the roadmap. Like, I've spent 25 years making the mistakes. My agency is in a, well-oiled machine where it's operating, award-winning, creating a major abundance. My husband and I work from home. You learn from someone who is doing exactly what you want to do, right? If you want to work from home 100% of the time, if you want to have 7+ figures in sales, if you want to, create a full-time income from travel, make sure your mentor is doing that, right? Find someone who's doing it and learn from them so you can replicate their success. I have worked with so many amazing mentors in all my different businesses that I have owned. I always find the person who's doing it the biggest and the best. And the cost really doesn't matter, because I know if I can replicate what they're doing, I'm gonna have the same results. So I've always been a big fan of mentors to up leveling wherever you're at. So that's the last person on the team that I think is really critical. So I wanna ask you guys a quick question. I have a little poll for you. tell me of that, the team we just went through, CPA, legal professional, marketing experts, which is like, you know, depending on which platform you want to really optimize first, or a mentor, which one do you feel like you would, if you could snap your fingers and have in place on your team tomorrow, which one would be most important to you? Just tell me in comments below. I'm just curious. That helps me also to build more content for you guys, because if marketing experts or mentor or legal professional, whichever one it is, maybe we'll make more videos on that. So take a second and just comment on that for me if you don't mind. I go back and read every single comment, both on Facebook and YouTube. I'm just curious. So coming up next, let's talk about how to vet these experts, right? Like, oh, the good news is you don't pay all of these people all the time. Like a CPA, once you have them established, you just pay them if you need advice through the year and then when they do your taxes, right? So that's not like an ongoing expense. Legal professional, kind of the same thing. Set up and then it's as you go if needed. And you know, vetting is so important though, whether it's a legal professional or a CPA or marketing experts is where I see people make mistakes, right? So I want to talk through like the big mistakes that I see and how to avoid them. One, these are marketers. Don't fall for flashy marketing. So many times I'll log in, you know, it'll be some Instagram or Facebook person. They're like, I'm gonna teach you this travel thing, da 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 da. I'm gonna teach you this, that, or the other. And then when I start digging into like, well, have they worked with agencies? Have they worked in the industry? Do they own their own travel agency? Have they worked with travel industry clients that are getting results, and are those results documented somewhere? So you don't just fall for the flashy marketing is kind of step one when you're vetting. The second thing to understand going into hiring any expert, and this is one we see all the time, you get what you pay for, right? So, and I made this mistake, admittedly. Like, you're all on a budget, we all have tight resources, and when I started looking for Facebook expert is probably the first example, I went through like 3, and I was like, oh, let me pay this one that only charges $600. Let me pay this one that only charges $800. Let me pay this one that only charges XYZ. And I just had horrible results because they didn't understand our industry. They didn't understand our client base. They had never worked in the travel arena before. And even with me trying to work with them, I got what I paid for, right? Like, they weren't as experienced as I was hoping for. So the prices sometimes dictate what the quality is going to be, if that makes sense. Not always, but that's been my experience. So when I finally like ponied up and found my most amazing Facebook expert, I was like, oh man, this is a lot of money. It's more than I've ever paid for an expert, right? But I'm like, I'm gonna test it for 3 months. I'm gonna test it for 3 months. And lo and behold, yes, even with that person, I had to introduce them to their industry, but because they're charging a higher fee, I got more of that concierge experience, and we started to make big progress. And then that money that we were spending every month didn't feel like anything. By the way, these numbers like I'm quoting, guys, are the numbers before you give them money to spend for your budget. That's why experience is so important, because let's say you hire someone for $1,000 a month to run Facebook, right? That $1,000 is their money for their family, because that's what they're doing. They're helping you, they're paying you, they're running your ads, they're doing, you know, testing and all of those things. They're gonna tell you, look, it's a 30, 60-day test period to get into here and understand what's going on. And I need a budget of a minimum of usually $1,000 or $1,500. So now you're talking about $2,500, $3,000 just for one platform to get that rolling. So I'm gonna tell you guys how to bring those costs down in a few minutes, so hang out for that. But just know that that's why you're at 7 figures, right? That's why agencies are selling 7 figures, because they're putting money behind getting online leads. So a lot of you veterans out there are having a tough year. A lot of you have reached out to me to say, I had this base of amazing clients. I never had to market because I had so many clients traveling. A lot of my clients are maybe a little bit older, or they're in this group that doesn't want to travel right now. So now I'm having to like scramble and figure out, how do I get more leads? I feel for you, because you don't need help being an agent. You don't need help like converting or you just need someone to call your phone and want to book a trip, right? You got to do this marketing stuff. This is what will bridge the gap in this tough year for you guys. So you got to double down on marketing. So let's keep going on vetting, because there's a lot more things that I would like you to do to save yourself money, right? check their years of experience. How long have they been doing this? What type of results are their clients having? Do they know our industry? Have they worked in travel? That can be a big deal, because if you have someone that's tested budgets with 10 other travel agencies, then it's not as hard of you, like, they have some results, right? And then, are their results documented? Do they have some type of case study process? Do they have customer case studies, reviews? Like, Careers on Vacation, we have over 75 video testimonials of how we helped people grow their travel business. You can, if you're watching on YouTube, you can check that out later. But when someone says, hey, we had this great success, they come to us and go, I'd love to share this with your community. We put it out there so people can say, look, if you work with us, this is the kind of results we're having. Is it documented somewhere that they're having success? That'll just make you feel a little bit better about your decision. Another thing you should do is go over to either their Facebook business page or their Google page and check their reviews. Are they at least a 4-star or higher? Right? We have over 50 5-star reviews for Careers on Vacation on both Google and Facebook. So your company reputation is important, because that tells people, you know, they're not going to be able to build that many awesome reviews unless they're really creating results for people. So vet whoever you're going to hire. There's nothing more disappointing than putting out even $500 or $1,000 for someone and getting 0 results back. That is the worst thing. So make sure you're vetting people. The other thing you want to ask any of these experts if you get to interview stage is, how do you measure results? So like for a marketing person, for example, like it might be click-through rate, it might be your reach on Facebook, it might be your cost per click, it might be the analytics, it might be how many people are clicking through to my website. What are those things they're gonna report to you on? Like I meet with my experts every 2 weeks, and they say, here's where we're trending. We're above, we're below, here's what's going on in the market. And we look at that data. I do not run my business on feelings. I run my business on numbers. And so many times when we work with new agency owners that have had some great success, and kudos to you if you have, but if you're really gonna get serious about exploding your business, you have to run it by numbers. So looking at those numbers on a regular basis with the person who understands them and can walk you through, hey, we're getting more cost for this, or this one's costing us too much. Should we shut it off? Should we adjust it? Making those decisions based on numbers is how you save money and get better results. So I could have a whole video on running your business by numbers, and there's probably some on YouTube, but at any rate, you guys get the idea. So we've talked about vetting. The next thing I wanted to share with you is, how do you save money? You're like, Cyndi, oh my gosh, I couldn't even afford one expert. Like, I get it. This is a tough year for a lot of you, especially if you didn't know how to really market online well for COVID, and now you're getting into this pandemic and you're like, there are people willing to travel, but how do I find them, right? So getting marketing in place is job one in terms of growth, and we have other videos about that, but I'm going to give you a couple ideas on how you can save money and do this process a little bit slower, whatever's going to work for your finances or budget. The first thing is, you can hire one at a time. You don't have to do the whole team at once. Like, if you're brand new, make sure you have the accountant and the legal, like that's like prerequisites for going forward, right? But beyond that, if you're going to hire an expert, you can do it one at a time. So decide and commit to one platform, and then once that one's having success and earning you some abundance, then you can have the second platform and the third platform, and you can kind of grow from there. Or you can think about working with a good mentor that packages this stuff together, right? That's a great way to do it. Like at Careers on Vacation, my team helped me grow from multiple 6 figures a year. We were already at, I did that on my own, but they got me to 6 figures a month, guys. And I'm not talking sales, I'm talking like income, right? So, whoa, like, phew, and yeah, I pay a lot of experts, but I have a lot of results behind that. So, but what we do is to make it super affordable for our clients in Careers on Vacation, is we have the best Facebook expert, we have the best social media expert, we have the best branding expert, we have the best mindset person, we have the best messaging person. We have those people, and we have them in our programs communicating with our clients. You get access to that team. So for a fraction of what you would pay to have an expert on staff just for a few months, you get all of those experts and you get access to them to start or grow your agency. We have 2 learning tracks. So if you're brand new, we do kind of a startup phase and go through a 12-week program. If you are already experienced, we have an experience track where we assess where you're at and figure out how to supersize you. But that allows a lot of people access to the best people. Not a lot of people could say, oh, I have a $10,000 budget to start paying experts next month, plus another 5K or 10K on top of that to do marketing, right? That's not like, I'm there, but it took me years to get there, right? So the normal average person starting from home is like, look, I have a much smaller investment level to kind of get started. So you could do it that way too. Think about Careers on Vacation. We will hook you up with all of those experts. I can't promise admission to Careers on Vacation. I want to say we've had like huge attendance through this COVID thing because everybody's like, I need to learn, I need to get in class, I have more time. But we do have some spots going into late August and early September. So you can apply by going to careersonvacation.com/ready now. If you haven't heard about Careers on Vacation before, we are an ASTA affiliated travel school. I already mentioned you get access to our team of experts. Our curriculum is self-paced. It's all online and you get lifetime access to our membership site, which is so important because, for example, Facebook is changing all of their stuff really soon. My students who took the program 2 years ago that have our membership site, they just log in and get the new information. So it's kind of like an evergreen program. So you get access to the curriculum ongoing, and the way that social media changes is really key because even during this season, my graduates are going, I'm going back through the program again from start to finish because so much has changed and we've updated the curriculum, right? So, and then of course we have our 75+ case studies, like vet me, go Google us, go check our Facebook reviews, go watch 20 of those case studies to see what we're creating out in the industry. And whether it's you work with me or you vet someone else, I hope that these tools have been helpful for you guys. That really was my purpose with this whole model, because having the right team in place, having that A team in place has really just driven our business to so beyond. I have, one of my grads came back to me last week and said, Cyndi, I'm still selling 6 figures a month in the middle of this pandemic because I'm using what you taught me in Careers on Vacation 3 years ago. And this is an agency that's built up to like 30+ ICs and all that good stuff. So the results are out there, guys. It is possible. I know you have to learn this new skill of online marketing and assembling this A team and doing things a little bit differently than maybe you've done them in the past, but I promise you can do it. I have so much faith in you. I wish you so much love, so much abundance. Please like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell over on YouTube, because on Fridays we're putting secret more training content on over at YouTube. You won't get it here on Facebook. So definitely go over and do that. And guys, I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for being part of the live stream, and I'm gonna go back and read all the comments as well. And I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys. Hey guys, Cyndi Williams here. If you like that last video, make sure you check out my other content to help you grow and scale your very own travel business. And also, I invite you to travel around the world with me and find out what I'm doing in my portable, profitable, award-winning travel business. Check out the videos.